Who would you vote for the 2023 Toy of the Year? Well, voting is open right now, and I'm very honored to have been asked by the Toy Foundation to showcase an entire category of toys that are up for Toy of the Year this year, and they have given me the Collectibles category. Before I go through those though, I do want to highlight the main reason why I really wanted to do this video. It is in support of the Toy Foundation, a 501c3 children's charity that works really hard to get brand new toys to underserved communities, children that have been displaced from their homes, children with illness. And you know, I think anybody that watches this channel, anyone that shares in the love of toys, understands the power of play in children's lives. And the Toy Foundation is a great charity, and I'm more than happy to do anything to help support that organization. I'll put a link down in the description below if you want to donate to them, but I'll also put a link to the Toy of the Year Awards. I'm sure you've heard of them before. They happen every year at New York Toy Fair. For us Mo2 fans, I think it was last year that Masters of the Universe Masterverse Collection won the action figure category for Toy of the Year. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go into the collectibles category, which all these different companies sent me different toys that are up for nomination in the collectibles line. All right, I'm just going to do this alphabetically. First up is the Bitsy, and for those of us who grew up with Tamagotchi, this is trying to do that on even a higher level. It has this little LED that kind of even though it's the frame rate isn't right here on this camera, when you're looking at it, just looks like a little three-dimensional pet, and you can actually, like, you know, pet it and feed it and interact with it, and you know, you can change out or collect different digital pets and stuff like that. So I vividly remember the Tamagotchi revolution, and this is definitely a next evolutionary step in that way. I will say, as a collectible, I don't see it as much, but for kids that maybe want to try and get the digital versions of these or collect the rare versions of these with these Bitsies, I can totally see how kids would be totally into this. But this thing is really cute. It's got okay, I'm gonna ask you to go to sleep right now. All right, next up is the return of Furby. I think it's like the third time they've rebooted it since the original, maybe the second time. This was, again, another big late 90s craze. And what I really like about this specific Furby is it seems to integrate some of that technology we saw with that interactive Grogu from a couple years back. And my son absolutely loves that Grogu. And I think he would really like this Furby as well, my youngest son, Alex, because it's just, it has a lot of cool features. It has voice interactivity. It has LED lights in the ears. It does respond to you. It has like dance mode. It has a lot of really fun features for kids. And I also love that there's this cool little friendship bracelet that you can put around the Furby, or your kids can wear around the wrist. I mean, having two young sons, myself 5 and 9 years old, this thing seems to be perfectly geared towards your daughters or your sons, because it kind of has all of the things that I know my kids would really dig. But is it a collectible though? I don't know. I know the original line had a bunch of different variants. I think this new one, there's only 2 colors. There's this one and like a purple one. I definitely dig this colorway better. But yeah, I think this one will be a definitely hot Christmas item for kids. All right, confession time. I went hard into the Lego minifigures collection, those blind bag minifigures when they first came out. Every single new wave, I would go out and like feel through the bags to try and make sure I got every single Lego minifigure, and the line is still going strong. Something that's been cool over the past few years is they've been doing different licenses, and for this year they are putting themselves in the collector category with their Disney 100 line. And I think this is a really cool set. There's a lot of really great figures. I'm personally pumped to get the Robin Hood, as well as Prince John, and then Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. I'm super excited to have gotten him. But I gotta say, the Lego minifigure line is a collector line that is still going strong and still coming up with new ways to drive you to want to keep collecting them. I kind of go off and on, like, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm not gonna buy anymore. But this Disney 100 line definitely has some heavy hitters that even if you aren't a big Lego fan, I think you'd want in your collection. All right, next up is the Monster High Skelector line. For those of us that buy things regularly on Mattel Creations, whenever they have a new Mo2 exclusive drop, we know that there is a rabid fan base for these Monster High collectible dolls. And they definitely seem to kind of fit in that kind of Bratz vibe, but for Mattel to use. There's live action TV shows, and the collectors for these lines go crazy for them. At Comic-Con, these are some of the hardest items to get, or the first things to sell out. And lately on Mattel Creations, they've been doing these cool licensed versions of characters. So they sent me the Chucky and Tiffany. These showed up on Mattel Creations and sold out a few months back. And, you know, they're not for me personally, but I do know there's a lot of collectors out there that love the Monster High Skelector line. Next up is the My Arcade Micro Player Pro. My Arcade's been doing these little mini arcades for a while now, but I gotta say they kind of keep getting better and better with each iteration, and this might be some of their best work. I love the fact that not only can you run these on 4 AA batteries, there's a USB 3 connector in the back, so you can run these off of USB power if you want to. But something of note, I thought that would actually have like a battery pack that would recharge. It doesn't do that. But even still, these are great little mini arcades, mainly because I really like how they actually use real arcade ports in these little sets. So I own a Miss Pac-Man, I've owned a Galaga, and so it has a very accurate experience to owning a real life arcade in a tiny little package. My sons love these things, they love playing them, and they have already been taking these and playing with them as well. So I think this is a really cool collector line. I love how you can run them just like a regular arcade. If you really want as close to the full arcade experience in a really tiny package, these do a really good job. And the fact they have so many of these now with some really great arcade games definitely makes it a collection worth picking up. This next one is the Shibo Grateful Dead series, and I've seen these on like Instagram ads or something like that before, but they are so much fun. I just wish I was better at, you know, shifting it and things like that. And I think the Grateful Dead is a perfect license for this because all of the trippy tie-dye and like different patterns that they use work really well here. But it's kind of neat to, you know, try to make different shapes. There's little, I'm assuming, magnets that kind of hold them together. These are a ton of fun. I love a good, you know, kind of fidget toy. And I think these do a really good job with that. I know my oldest son, Zach, who's 9, he really digs this thing. I think he saw an ad for it on YouTube or something like that. So I know he is really pumped to have one of these in the house to fidget with. But yeah, this Shibo is really cool. Even if you're not a Grateful Dead fan, I think the iconography works really well. And if you're just like kind of fidgeting with it, you can come up with new shapes like this one. I haven't made this shape yet. So the Shibo Grateful Dead set is a pretty cool addition in this collector category. And last but not least is Squishmallows. Again, if you have kids, if you have nieces, nephews, if you have anybody of a child age right now, the Squishmallow is probably one of the most popular toys for kids. It is in my household. I've got giant Squishmallows rolling around. I got this size Squishmallows. I got the little Squishmallows, and even like the little micro Squishmallows that go in eggs. The Squishmallow is a really hot property, and bringing in the Pokemon license is a great move by Jazwares. Again, kids love Squishmallows, and they can't get enough of these dang things. So even though I wouldn't collect these, I know there's kids that are definitely building out some pretty sizable Squishmallow collections, including my own. All right, so there you have it. People can vote right now. You have until September 8th to vote in all the different categories. I recommend checking them all out. It's really fascinating to see the different toys that are out there. There's an action figure category. I think I'm definitely going for the Mutant Mayhem TMNT toys. You know, I've loved those on this channel so far. There's a Turtle Pizza Van and vehicles. I definitely got to vote for Bluey in the license category, but I'll put a link down in the description below and get your votes in. You have until September 8th, and I think they're announcing the awards on September 30th. Again, a big thanks to all of the toy companies that sent these in for me to share here with you all. Please go vote, but all of these products are really cool, and I think are all worthy to be nominated for Toy of the Year. Again, the main purpose of doing this video is to highlight the Toy Foundation, a great children's charity. So if you want to consider giving, I have a link to their page in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, hasta luego, and goodbye.